Hola amigos, it's me Paul and my beautiful wife Daniela.
Hola everyone.
And today we're going to answer the question, is it safe to move to Mexico in 2025? We could basically speak from our own experience. I'm coming from Salinas, California, and I moved to Bucerias almost 10 years ago. So it's coming up on that 10-year anniversary. But if I were to compare Salinas safety versus Bucerias safety, it's about the same. It's just basically like, I might even say that it feels safer here than it does in Salinas, because Salinas has quite a bit of gang violence. So that's not something that I have to worry about here. I don't notice it, or it's just not, it's not something that happens.
Not in your radar.
It's not in my radar. You know, and so Daniela, you come from Mazatlan, right?
Yes, which, you know, in Mexico and probably abroad, it's been known to be like cartel related and all that stuff. So right now, for example, in 2024, there was a big issue in Culiacan, which is 2 hours away from Mazatlan. But Mazatlan stays like the touristic city of the state. So it kind of like, it doesn't impact as much, obviously.
Yeah.
But either way, obviously, you know, it's so close. And yeah, I mean, even the tourism, people could tell nobody was going because, you know, they hear the news, and obviously it's so close that you just think about not traveling there.
Yeah.
But, you know, my family lives there, and yeah, they have mentioned that it's, you know, I mean, because of the situation was kind of weird these past months. But at the same time, it's not like they're moving out or anything. It's just like you just have to let it pass.
You just kind of weather that storm, because it does come in waves. And the same thing can be said where I'm from, Salinas, California, where there would be these, I guess, waves of violence. And we'd have like 3 or 4 months of a lot of shootings and things like that. And then pretty peaceful for the next like year or so.
Yeah.
So it just kind of comes and goes. And so if you're moving to Mexico, I would say it depends a lot on where you move to, because Mexico does have some of the most violent cities in the world. But then you have places like Puerto Vallarta, Bucerias, that almost have no violence, right?
Well,
like
even in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta is known for being like a very friendly city and very safe city.
Right.
And, you know, we are 25 minutes away from Puerto Vallarta. So basically the whole touristic area here, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But then, like Paul says, depends on where you are. Like, if you think, I'm going to move to Mexico City, either, you know, you can think both things. Like, oh, it's so safe, you know, touristic area is like, wow. But then you also think there's some areas that are kind of dangerous. So obviously it will depend where you are.
So what would you say is a good recommendation for somebody who's thinking about moving to a particular city?
I mean, as always, do your research, right?
Right.
Online, which is your first tool. But then I think my second recommendation will be to try it out renting.
Yeah.
First. Like, no matter what, you know, even though it's kind of like, it happens that you're also doing things like kind of rush and you're like, I'm ready to buy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, I kind of find it cool that you can do that too. But most people that do that do know what they're doing, you know, they do know the city.
Right. So in general, I think it's try before you buy, right? And so it's like, if you're gonna buy anywhere, whether it's even in the United States or Canada, go check it out first, and probably just talk to the locals and just observe how the day-to-day situation is where you're living.
I mean, you need more than just a holiday.
Yeah.
Right? Like, actually stay there for as many months or weeks as you can.
Yeah.
Because it's just different. You have the time to talk to locals or like, you know, walk around areas that normally you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see, is, you know, even when you live there, there's always an area where you're always gonna move around.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't really go in the back or over there or whatever, but, you know, you're comfortable visiting everything.
For sure. A lot of towns have Facebook groups. Like here in Bucerias, there's a bunch of them. But you can get on there and kind of get the general vibe of what's going on. Like, I just randomly joined up with the Zihuatanejo, I think it was. Was it Zihuatanejo? I think it was. I got caught. No, I'm not moving to Zihuatanejo, but it just came up and I said, sure, let's see what's going on in this town.
Yeah.
And they have a big problem with crocodiles, turns out. Like, they're just everywhere. So it's like in people's pools, They're in people's
Wow.
yards. I'm just like, this is
Sounds
crazy.
like Florida.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're moving to a place, join up on the Facebook group and see what people are generally complaining about or talking about. Here in Bucerias, I thought about that because I'm about to say, here in Bucerias, there's been a lot of complaints on our Facebook group about people getting, paddleboarders getting too close to the whales because it's whale season.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so they're just like, you know, on a paddleboard, you can get right up to them, right?
I just sent you a video about a guy being swallowed
That's right.
but in Chile, by a humpback whale.
Yeah.
And then spit out. So
Yeah.
he's alive. But that's like, because I know they're here too.
Yeah. That would be
crazy.
interesting.
So one thing though about the Facebook groups is like, obviously if you're gonna read a comment, just don't go for the first one. Obviously just go through the whole comments and like see what else is happening, because sometimes just people, I think Facebook allows people to get a little intense.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it can be very negative. For some reason that platform is more like that. Sometimes,
It is.
right?
Yeah, there's just a lot of negative Nancys on there and Karens and all that kind of stuff, right? Nancys and Karens.
I mean, no, it's helpful, but at the same time, as usual, use your common sense.
That's right. I did get a comment from Mingle Media 9730, and they said, most dangerous cities in the world are located in Mexico. Gringos need to stay out if you have sense. Right? And I'm wearing a very gringo shirt today, so I feel like he's
You are
directly
gringo today.
attacking me.
He's
right?
not attacking you, he's warning you.
Oh, he's warning me. Okay, it's a warning. I felt a little aggressive, but you know, that's fine. And he's right. Like, I think there are some of the most dangerous cities in the world are Mexico, and I don't recommend moving there. But it's similar to the United States, where you have, like, if you were to say, hey, don't move to the United States, it's the most dangerous place in the world. I saw this event happened in Las Vegas. I saw this event happen in New York City. But then if you move to Salem, Oregon, it's like the most peaceful place in the world.
Isn't that the witch place?
Salem, Massachusetts, which is dangerous. Don't move there. There's brujas, right?
We don't know, we've never been there.
Well, there used to be, apparently. But yeah, if you just any small town America, you're pretty safe. It's mostly just those cities that you have to worry about. And so that's the same thing in Mexico. You can't just compare, you know, an entire country to, or relate the entire country to one specific part, or just the negative, or just the most dangerous places in that country.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's the statistics. So, you know, that's how we know, or that's how we have the numbers. But like we said before, just try it out yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, always try to be safe and, like, you know, move around places that you are comfortable, and pretty much follow your gut. Is that how you say it?
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut. Okay.
We're gonna get into some Mexican sayings later.
Okay.
Right?
Follow your instinct.
Follow your instinct. Yeah. I like it though, follow your gut. So there's another comment here. It says, Jim Clarence, 5441, and he says, we're vacationing in our second year in Mazatlan, the northwest part of Mexico.
Where are you from?
Have never seen a homeless person. People drive well-maintained cars, newer cars. People are polite. Stores, streets, beaches are clean. All very civil to me. And I would just ditto that. If you go to Mazatlan, it's a beautiful town. Here in Bucerias, we have quite a bit of an issue with garbage. And so when you go to a town like Mazatlan, everything is a lot cleaner. There's a lot more like paved roads or paved sidewalks. And so it's just a more, I guess, well-maintained city.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. And you do feel safe there, you know, and so
If you don't read the news.
if you don't read the news and see what's paying attention to what's going on in Culiacan, and honestly, if you're not looking for danger, you're probably not going to find it. Or if you're not looking for trouble, you're probably not going to find it. So, you know,
I guess anywhere.
that goes for anywhere in the world, right? So use common sense, and you'll most likely be fine.
Yeah.
All right, and moving right along, we do have a new contest on our website for all of our channel members as well as new subscribers. If you want to sign up for that contest, you can go to our website, and I'll put the link in the description of this video, and you can win 5 nights at Vista Paseo, which is a vacation rental that we have on our BeachLife Properties website.
Yes, it's a new listing this year. So this is a condo, a 1-bedroom place, 2 bathrooms, and it's like, it has a great location.
Yeah.
This is like you mentioned, Life Bucerias, which is right there on the Golden Zone. So it's literally 1 block away from the ocean, and it's right where all the restaurants, the boutique places are. So you just walk everywhere, and it's just in the middle, in the heart of the town.
Yeah,
So
it's in a
great location.
beautiful location, as well as having a lot of amenities. It has a big fancy pool with like a lot of lounge area,
A jacuzzi,
a jacuzzi.
a gym, a pretty nice gym.
Really nice gym with lots of different kind of things that people can
Equipment.
do. Yeah. So in this contest, I have made it open to all subscribers, but I did give all of the channel members 10 draws. So they're getting 9 extra draws, so 10 total. And so that's just a way to say thank you to all of our channel members.
Buena suerte.
So with Vista Paseo, they signed up with us. We rent their property as well as offering them property management services.
That's right. So all in one. That way you don't have to worry about it. But we're happy to, be working with them now.
Yeah.
And it's, we have the calendar pretty open. So if you guys are interested, go check out the website and let us know so we can find accommodations for you.
For sure. All right. So we got another comment from Chad Thompson, and he says, it would be nice to hear more information about renting for the season, like what season prices are and how to go about safely renting something in the correct place.
It's a loaded question.
That is a lot. So go ahead, Daniela, answer that question.
Well, it varies a lot. I mean, how many bedrooms you need, which is the location you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as closer to the ocean, more expensive.
Right.
And then you can go far back, and then prices are gonna drop.
Right.
So also depends obviously on the season, which most people are now wanting January, February, and March, which are very on demand and very busy. So what people mostly do is just rent 1 year in advance. The thing is, what the question was, where is the correct place to rent? And we always suggest to just go with a local agency that will be, that you can trust, that you think, okay, they look, trustworthy, and then they're gonna look after me, they look for the place. Because there is a lot of places, but the thing is, not all of them are well maintained, or the service might not be what you want.
That's right.
And that's when people are moving to different places because they don't like the one they rented that time. Or they don't have a good experience that particular season, which is not what you want, right? So that happens.
and it's pretty sad when that happens, because you invest basically your entire, let's say you rent for 6 months, 4 months, and the whole time you're like, oh, this isn't quite what I wanted, And so you're kind of having a less than optimal vacation experience because you ended up renting a place that was not as advertised, right? And so, like Daniela said, the best thing you can do is go to beachlifemexico.com, BeachLife Properties. That's our website, and check out our rentals.
Another way we can help you will be with this BeachLife Verified, which is the idea that Paul came up with.
Yeah, and basically BeachLife Verified is a service that we offer where you can contact us when you're maybe a little suspicious or weary of the person that maybe you found on Facebook, right? Like you found the rental on Facebook and you're like, is this real or not? It seems too good to be true. And before you send this person all of your money or the deposit, have Daniela, myself, go and check up on the property for you. And so we're offering that service. It's called BeachLife Verified, and it's just a way to protect people coming on vacation, because there's nothing sadder than going on to, I hear it on the Facebook groups. It's really sad. People write, hey, I came here, I deposited for my month stay or my 6 month stay, and the place is not here. The person I rented from just ghosted me.
So they get scammed.
They got scammed. It's a scam.
Yeah.
And so that unfortunately it does happen. And so to wrap it up, what you want to do is use a trustworthy vacation rental company or have one of us go and check on your property, your vacation rental property, using BeachLife Verified. And so, Daniela, do you want to read this comment?
Yes, this is from Mike, and it says, I'm just curious what expats, not snowbirds, do with their lives.
Yeah, what do they do?
That's a loaded question too.
I know exactly what they do. They do YouTube channels and talk about Mexico. It does seem that way, right?
Yes. They wear gringo shirts.
Yeah,
and they join a channel.
That's right. And you marry a girl from Sinaloa.
That's one thing you can do.
That is one. That's one option.
Yes.
But there are many. What I would say is that you pretty much do what you did back home, right? I mean, depending on where you're coming from. But if I were to compare my life here in Bucerias versus back in Salinas, California, there's really not too much of a difference. Yeah, I don't.
The weather.
The weather, yeah, the weather's a lot different.
Yeah, there will be activities that you do different because of the weather, actually. But then, like you said, you go to the gym, you will work probably.
Yeah.
In this case, mostly from home, probably.
Yeah.
Or I do see a lot of people opening businesses because
Right.
their money goes a long way here, so they're able to do that.
Right.
What else? They join certain groups or
Yeah,
I guess it varies if they're not retired or not, but sometimes they join Casa De La Paz and
yeah, there's expat communities that you can meet up with, and something I just thought of is like, what did I do back in California that I don't do here? I used to go do a lot of hiking because there's a lot of different areas to go hiking there, and here there's not so much. We have Monkey Mountain over in Sayulita, but
there's Las Animas in South PB.
But that's like I have to get in the car and drive really far to get there, and in this case in California where I'm from, you still have to get in the car, but it was a lot more accessible. And so now instead of that, I walk around town or I walk on the beach, and that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So little things like that, and I guess what else would be the difference?
I mean, I hear from your mom. She's like, I visit more restaurants when I'm in Mexico than back home.
Oh, that's true.
But
yeah.
I mean, she's retired, so it might be a lot of different. But at the same time, it's true. It's just like you feel it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Which you come here and you're still like, oh, whoa, that bill wasn't that cheap. But it depends where the restaurant is.
It depends. I think even though it does cost you money to, let's say, if you go out to a fancy or a nice restaurant here in our area, it's probably about half the price of what you would have to pay back home, or even less. So it is cheaper to go out here, and I think we have per capita we have quite a bit of good restaurants.
So I do feel that that's something you might do more than back home. But
it depends on where you're from.
Yeah.
Because if you're from Portland, Oregon, they have tons of good restaurants there.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're not gonna really. You're probably gonna miss having all of those restaurants versus here, or some of them.
Yeah.
You get better Mexican food here. I'll just say that.
Well, you said you had a burrito car there, pretty good.
A burrito?
Right? Yeah.
No.
In Portland?
No.
A torta place or something?
No, I think you're mixing up my story because my story about going to.
You tell a lot of stories.
Okay. This is true. But I went to one of the food truck areas in Portland, and it said, it's Mexican food. It looked very authentic. And so I was like, cool, Mexican food, finally, because there's always all these other, Thai cuisine and all these other ones. But finally, a good Mexican food truck showed up, and I was like, all right. And so the guy asked me, what do you want on your torta? Do you want cheese? And I was like, yeah, I want cheese. And he poured all this like gnarly queso all over it, like the nacho cheese.
Like Kraft?
Yeah, like Velveeta kind of style or whatever it's called. And I went, oh, no.
That's not Mexican style.
And I think it maybe even was ground beef, and I was like, and I looked at the guy, I'm like, are you Mexican? I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Or something.
But then I thought to myself, like, he's catering to his clients, right? And so a lot of, the further you get away from Mexico in the United States, the food starts to change and the interpretation of what Mexican food is starts to change. And so I think maybe he was just making his clients happy.
So to answer the question, we eat a lot here, right?
Yeah, I would say so. We eat out a lot. Like there's lots of good options, and you know, there's lots of, like, we do have fast food here, but not as many options for fast food. But we have tacos, right? So like the tacos kind of become like, if you were thinking, oh, let's just go get something quick, like that's where you go.
Yeah. But then, like, let's say someone that will be an expat and maybe they're single, then you date. Like, you just join apps or you found friends and they tell you someone's single, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, you do what you do back home.
For sure. And so that is a little tricky. It is Valentine's Day while we're filming this, and I am very happy that I have Daniela in my life. And I hope she's happy that she has me in her life. But so happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And, you know, a few years ago when I met Daniela, I had been on Tinder. So Tinder, right? And so, you know, it's tricky being a gringo. And I remember just being like, how am I going to be dating anybody here? And there's a lot of, this area is also like, there's a lot of people who come and go. So you're like, who can I even really take serious, you know? And so fortunately, I met Daniela, and she's awesome.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
You too.
Thank you. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We love you. So tell us, because there is a difference here in Mexico with Valentine's Day, right?
I think so. I didn't know until I went to the US, but basically in Mexico, we also call it Feliz Día del Amor y la Amistad, which means happy day of love and friendship.
Okay.
So it's not just about romantic love. It's also about just in general, right? Like love your friends and your family and all that. So you basically wish anyone happy Valentine's Day. And of course, you know, whoever has a partner and they can do a romantic way, they do that. But then basically, I guess the point was not to leave all the single people like sad. So people
that does happen, right?
Like join and do stuff.
Like in the United States, when you're single and everyone's supposed to be doing Valentine's Day with their lover, right? Or their significant other. And you're just like, bleh. It just kind of drives home the point that you're single. Yeah. But here in Mexico, it's like, oh, well, I'll go hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And
so
I
mean, you just celebrate as usual, like any other holiday.
Yeah.
And you just don't make it all about love, romantic love.
Right. Very good.
Sense?
Yeah. Like today, you went with your friends.
Yeah, I had a breakfast with my friends to celebrate the friendship. And then we're going to have dinner with Paul and Max.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a nanny.
Our third wheel, right?
But you know what? I don't really know if that's the same in other countries. Like, which other country would have also, like, not just Valentine?
Yeah, what do they do in Japan? Right? Comment below. And so something else, if you live in like a touristic area, you can take advantage of that and do tourist things. Recently, we went to the zoo in Puerto Vallarta, and we had never been before, but I've always been very curious. I've heard stories about it, and it's pretty cool, actually. It's very, I guess, rustic. And when we went in, you know, there's just one guy there, and then he gives you little instructions, gives you some like carrots and things to feed the animals. And so you go in, and that is the last time you even see a worker from the zoo. And you're walking through, and there's like animals on the trail, like going between, like
certain ones, like
there's certain animals, not tigers or anything like that, but like there was quoties, right? Those little quoties, and those are wild here, so I think they're just kind of like there because they're in the jungle and they just come onto the zoo property. But you know, it was pretty cool. There was at one point I was throwing peanuts to spider monkeys, and they were catching them. And
pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And Emma was feeding a giraffe a carrot, which was just crazy because this giraffe is just hanging out and waiting for people to come over with the carrots or whatever it was they were feeding them, and there's no worker there.
Well, I'm sure there might be cameras though.
Maybe.
But at the same time, you can see how the animals that they think are not gonna escape.
Yeah.
They're kind of like more open and they're not in a cage.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was different displays and, lots of different animals. And then all of a sudden there was like a whole thing of bunnies.
Yes.
Right? We're like, what? There's bunnies? And then the next one was pigeons.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking about like, why do they have bunnies and pigeons? Those are kind of like farm animals, or not even, those are just animals that fly around. Like, why are they here? And I'm like, I think this is what they feed the tigers. I'm pretty sure. Like, they just throw some in there and they hunt them for fun. But who knows? But yeah, it was interesting.
For fun. Sounds like, but
well, for the tigers, right? Not for the bunnies. Happy Valentine's Day. And so what's going on with Casa De La Paz? I haven't given you guys an update in quite a while. I can tell you that recently I went to a fundraising event at Jack's Bar and Grill here in Bucerias, and it was an amazing event, a huge turnout. I think it was because basically every pickleball player in Bucerias came to the event, and they were they're actually the ones who were donating.
They're the organizers.
They organized it,
yeah. That was very nice of them.
Yeah, it was a beautiful event, and they raised a lot of money for Casa De La Paz. So thank you to the Bucerias Pickleball Group. And in addition to that, they are now getting ready to paint the walls at Casa De La Paz. Very exciting. And so they are asking people if they want to come and help paint the walls. They can do that, or if they want to donate paint, they can do that as well. And so they're not too worried about the colors, but maybe just pick a nice color, because they...
What do you mean? They're going to paint different colors?
Because the idea is that, in each room, have it be a different color.
Yeah.
Because then if they're all the same color, they'll be walking into the wrong rooms and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, so they're not too worried about the colors. But yeah, if you guys want to help out, send me an email, info@movingtomexi.co. All right, and so as far as real estate in the area goes, we do have some options. We have Casa Tijuana, which is actually in Huatulco, Oaxaca. We did a big video about that, and that one is still available, but there is a price drop, right?
Yeah. That's
right. So it's pretty substantial price drop. So if you're interested in Casa Tijuana, reach out to us. It's a beautiful property. How many bedrooms was it? Is it
That's 4 bedrooms, so up to 12 people, and you can actually have around 16 or so.
Yeah, like sleeps 16 people. Beds. Yeah, it's just a beautiful property. It has like this amazing ocean view, and so I would say that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity there to get your hands on Casa Tijuana. And then we also have on our website a new development here in Bucerias called Amani Bucerias. And there's some condos there starting at $201,000. So not too bad.
And where is this one located?
This one is just up the street from Luna, like in that area.
Oh, okay, so so in downtown Bucerias.
Yes, it's in pre-sale, but the developer is very well established and has a really great reputation. So it's a good opportunity to get in before the price goes up, because as soon as the place gets built and people start buying up the units, the price starts to go up. And so my friend asked me if I could share the property in La Cruz, and it's called Casa India. And this is a very unique property. It is actually 2 lots. And so on one lot, there's a 3-level home, and on each level, it's basically like its own unit. So it is a bit of a fixer-upper, but there's a lot of potential there, because it basically has the bones to be 3 separate units already.
And where can we see that?
I have pictures. I'll share some photos online on our website. And so on the other side is just a garden. And so I could see somebody just keeping it as the garden, or you can put a pool there, or you can build another building, right? Like whatever you want to build. So if you're interested in that property, send me an email, info@movingtomexi.co.
So another comment is from Linda Jackson, and she asked, do people speak English there? And yes, we do.
Yeah,
Some people,
apparently we do.
But it depends. Like where you are. Like there's more cities that you find more English speakers than others.
Right.
So it varies.
I would just say that in the touristy areas, you're going to find a lot more English speakers because they're catering to the tourists. Like here in Puerto Vallarta or Bucerias, there's a lot of people who speak English. But then if you just go like east from Bucerias into
like
the town
1,
of
2, 3 towns
like 20 minutes from here, you go into that town and there's not too many English speakers. Like it's like a whole other world. So it just depends on where you go. There's more touristy cities than others.
Yes.
And so for me, if I start speaking Spanish and my Spanish isn't as great as it should be, it's like, well, people are gonna switch to English. So they're like, all right, dude, yeah, nice try.
Don't bother.
And they just switch. And so they speak English to me. It's kind of shameful, really. But
well, maybe if you're in a rush, but normally we're kind of like, we like to hear you guys try.
Yeah, and I think that's something I always try to do. Even if I'm like, I'm not doing well, I just keep going. And I just force them to hear me speak poor Spanish. But I do pretty good.
Yes.
But so there are some words in Spanish that I would say are my favorite words. And those words, I didn't plan this, they all start with the letter C for whatever reason.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay, so the first one I want to share with you is the word cacahuate. Cacahuate.
Okay, you have to say that word like the whole word, kind of like fast.
Why?
It now sounds bad.
What do you mean? Why?
Because the first part that you stop, it means something else.
Oh, because I said caca.
Like you can
and
put
then
the emoji here.
Yeah, that's right. So you want to say, when you say cacahuate,
Like that.
you don't want to say cacahuate, because then they only hear that first part.
Yes.
Okay, but that word, is it even Spanish?
I think it has something to do with the indigenous languages.
I think it does. So that word is actually indigenous to. We'll have to look that up. But I think that one is not actually Spanish, because if you go to Spain and you say cacahuate,
Mani.
they would So that means peanut butter here.
No. Relax. Mani is the peanut.
Oh.
Or cacahuate. That's the same word. But for peanut butter is crema de maní,
Crema de maní.
which is peanut butter.
So if you do Google Translate and you say, what is peanut butter, and you come to Mexico and you say crema de maní,
O crema de cacahuate. In Mexico es crema de cacahuate.
but then if you say crema de maní,
We'll
they know?
understand.
They'll know what you mean, but that's not what they typically hear.
No, we don't say it like that mostly.
And that's the similar thing to, being in the U.S. and we say certain things in English, and then in England they say something else.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things. But yeah, the word cacahuate, it's a beautiful
sound for
word.
you?
Yeah, it's an awesome word, cacahuate.
Okay, what's the other one?
The other one I like is cachucha. Cachucha.
Yeah.
And that might be a Mexican word as well. Is that true?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I didn't investigate funny words.
Yeah, these are my funny words. I have a feeling that
But I
might
like how you say it.
cachucha.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, does it sound like what it is at all?
Yeah. It's a baseball cap, right? Like if you have a hat.
Yeah.
Cap. A cap. So cap, cachucha.
Yeah.
And so
Just like that.
yeah, cachucha. You could say it so fast, it rolls right off the tongue. So if you want to practice referring to your hat as your cachucha.
Yes.
And so when you're leaving the house and you ask your wife, "Hey, where's my cachucha?"
That's right.
That's fun to
Yeah, because there's a lot of sun here.
Yeah, so remember, wear your cachucha.
The next one, I think a lot of people have seen it in reels probably, or memes.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the chancla.
That's
And
right.
so what is the chancla?
It's the Mexican mama's tool,
It's a Mexican mama tool.
right?
Or sandal, right? Flip-flop.
Yes.
So the chancla is a multi-purpose tool here in Mexico, I would say. It's not only...
I haven't used it on Max. I hope I don't.
Yeah, not yet. Wait
He's only one.
Wait till he turns 2.5, right? Then you bring that into the
I already watched
world.
telenovelas, so that's a Mexican mama thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm turning into one. I am one.
the chancla is very famous here in Mexico, not just for wearing, but for slapping, right? Or throwing. Some people have really good aim when they throw a chancla.
They even do like a contest, or what is it called?
Do
like
they?
A trend or of doing the chancla, and then like on the, there's a cup here and then you throw it.
Ah,
And the
okay.
Latina girls were pretty good at it.
Okay.
But to be honest, I never done it. So like I never throw a chancla to anyone. It's just funny to think, like, I kind of do remember maybe my mom hitting me on the butt with it, but not crazy,
But that brings me to another word that is not really my favorite word. It is cucaracha, right? But the chancla is a tool for killing.
Yes.
It's the number one tool for killing the cucaracha,
Yes.
which is a cockroach.
Yeah, you will say, bring the chancla to kill the cucaracha.
That's right.
How
would you say that in Spanish?
Trae la chancla para matar a la cucaracha.
That's like
fast?
music to my ears.
This is because it's Valentines.
Yes.
That's awful.
Say that again, but very slowly.
Okay. Trae la chancla para matar a la cucaracha.
And what does that mean?
But you will say this probably yelling because you're like all scared and you have to kill the cucaracha.
So reenact it.
And it means, no, I already did it like
No,
3
but
times.
reenact how you would say it, like if you actually had a freaking cucaracha right in front of you.
The thing is that sometimes, or most times, they fly and it's like very scary and they're like pretty huge. So it's gross.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
hopefully you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I remember many years ago there was a cucaracha in my house, and I opened the front door and I took the broom and I hit like a hockey puck, right? With a hockey stick. I hit the cucaracha to make it go outside, and it went right out the door and flew right back to my face, and I had to duck. And you just get this feeling over your whole body, like the chills, like, ugh, and you just start swinging that thing everywhere. It's like they're not good animals.
Don't get a broom because they go through it and.
That was a rookie move.
Yes, the chancla is your thing.
Yeah, I should have just.
Yes, but you have to be brave to go near and do it.
I'm brave. After you kill the cucaracha, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, that was a big event in my life. Now you need a chela. What is a chela, Daniela?
That's a beer.
That's right. It's just another fancy way to say beer.
Yes.
And I think that's
Not
Mexican,
fancy,
right?
Actually.
It's very slang.
Yeah.
Right? It's very slang.
Sí.
How would you say, hey, give me a beer, man?
¿Me das otra chela, por favor?
Now say it very slowly.
¿Me das otra chela, por favor?
All right, and so another word, this is a word I learned many years ago back in Salinas. It is chale. And I used it always completely wrong, and I did not even know what it really meant. Yeah, I would just say, chale, like as if it's like something cool. But the reality is, what does it actually mean?
It means like bummer.
Yeah, I kind of think, does it mean like, oh crap?
Yeah.
Like, oh shoot.
But it doesn't sound as bad as crap.
Okay, so it's
more
softer.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, bummer might sound too soft, and then crap sounds too heavy, so maybe chale is in the middle.
Right in the middle. So if let's say, here's an example.
Meter thing.
You're like, oh, we want to go see a movie, but then you realize that you have to wait an hour till the next showing.
Sí.
You might say, chale.
Sí. Chale. We're going to have to do it on our time.
Chale, way. Vamos por chelas.
Yeah.
Right?
It's Spanish.
Turn it into a positive. And so that was it for my favorite words with the letter C. It's kind of like Sesame Street, right? Like today's word is brought to you by the letter C.
Thanks to Linda's question.
Yes. And so, and I just wanted to say this one too. It's some lesser known differences between Mexico and the United States or Canada. And that is the sound that a rooster makes. Now, right now, what sound, when you want to imitate a rooster, what do you say?
Think about it.
You say, cock-a-doodle-doo. More caca, right? Interesting. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
If you speak English.
If you speak English. But what do Mexican roosters sound like?
We say, kikiriki.
Does that even...
Sounds cool.
Does that even
That's
sound
what you'll hear in the schools
like a rooster,
kids.
though?
That's what Max will learn. Get over it.
I'm gonna teach him. I'm gonna teach him the right way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that one's something that I'm like, man, but the kikiriki. When I hear the rooster, I'm like, dude, they don't really sound like that. But when they say cock-a-doodle-doo, you know, like versus kikiriki, like.
I don't know. We kind of go with that phrase about, we say kikiriki, ya amaneció.
And that is like.
And that means like.
I'm excited, or.
You know, supposedly the sound of the chicken or the rooster, and then. Or the chickens don't say that?
They
Say
don't.
anything?
No.
So, well, that's supposed to be the sound of the rooster in the morning, and then you say it's already light out. Or like, amaneció means that it's daylight.
It started, like the day has started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we say it.
Okay.
But yeah, honestly, until he said that cock-a-doodle-doo thing, and but with the sound, like singing,
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
and then I compare it to an actual sound of a rooster, makes more sense. But I just like the one I learned.
Yeah, of course. That's what you're used to, right?
Yes. I don't know if there's a Mexican there that has another way to say it, but I never heard anything else.
Me neither. Yeah, I hear people say kikiriki, and I just shake my head every time.
You're like judging us?
Yeah. Oh, whatever.
Makes no sense.
They're not perfect. No, I'm just kidding. And so something else that happened recently is that I was taking Maya out to the backyard here, and she was doing her business, doing a caca. Man, this episode is just like caca, right?
Maya is our dog.
Yeah, Maya's our dog. And so I was watching her do her business like I always do. And Daniela said, hey, don't watch her go poop because you might get a sty in your eye. And that sounds crazy. Right? And so that's,
we call it perrilla, and then she's a perro.
Yeah.
So.
And so that is basically a Mexican wives' tale, right? Like there's a lot of weird superstitions, and so that's one of them. Hey, you don't want to watch a dog go caca because then you'll get a sty in your eye.
Yeah.
And so there's quite a few different ones, and so I made a little list that we could go over. I thought it would be fun.
I mean, have you guys ever heard about that one?
Yeah. What's your favorite wives' tale? Comment below. So here's another one. It's basically if you let your feet touch the cold floor, you're gonna get sick. And so that's a big one. And I've heard that one before.
Yeah, even from my mom.
Yeah, like your mom will say it, and they're very very serious about it.
Yeah.
Like that one's not like so much like the sty where it's kind of silly, very like weird out there. This one is very common and people really believe it.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't worry about it. But I'm also used to wearing shoes, so that's why maybe I don't even think about it so much.
Maybe subconsciously, that's why you are always wearing shoes in the house.
No, it's just because in Mexico we don't have rugs or, like you guys have, how do you call it?
Carpet?
Carpet.
Yeah.
And so you don't use shoes. But here in Mexico we have just regular floor.
Okay. Yeah, we have tile.
Tile,
It's more common.
Regular floor.
Yeah, it's regular. The other stuff is weird. I get you. Yeah, I think that's one. And then also, like, if you go in and out of, like you're in a cold area and then you go in a hot area. The AC. And like, that's very common, I hear. Oh, maybe you got sick because you were in the air conditioner and then you went in the hot air too quickly.
Yeah.
Like, but then how are you going to do that, right?
But that one does make a little more sense, no?
Does it?
Or it's crazy?
Does it?
I think so. I mean, yeah. Because you can get congested. How do you say this?
Well, that would be, to me, like, okay, the air conditioner maybe has dust and you're breathing this air and then you do get like a little congested or whatever. But then the actual action of going in and out of a cold, hot zone or area doesn't seem like you would necessarily get sick from that.
I also never worry about it, to be honest. But the one that I have heard, and I don't think it's true, but I've heard it, is the one when they say if you open but you have to have, I don't know the whole thing maybe, but you open the fridge and then I think if you were doing like ironing and you're hot and then you went and open the fridge, you can get like a
blast of cold air?
Yeah.
That gives you sickness.
No, that gives you like paralyzes your face. That thing that, can you call it like a stroke or?
Yeah.
Like that. Like very intense.
Really?
But maybe I'm saying it wrong because I don't remember how the whole phrase is. But there's a phrase. Maybe we'll find it and you can put it there.
Okay. I've never heard of that.
And that one seems like very intense.
For sure, yeah.
They're also all very intense.
So like 1 second you're ironing and you're like, man, I'm thirsty. Let me go get a beer. and you open the fridge and you get a stroke.
Something. I might say it not that well. But you know, like when you're ironing, you're also not supposed to wash your hands in cold water because it doesn't help your, bones or... No? Well, that's not true either.
Oh my gosh. What are you talking
Because like
about?
when what was it, the sickness about your bones? Osteoporosis?
Uh-huh.
So something like that. You haven't
Okay,
heard
so
that?
that's another one. If you're ironing, do not get your hands cold. You'll get osteoporosis.
Because you're all hot.
That
Or like when the lady,
I don't know.
when the
That
lady's
sounds-
doing massages and then she's the masseuse and then her hands are hot because she's working with them and she's like all, how do you say like hot? But I mean like warm.
Yeah.
She has to wait until they're like room temperature or like she relaxes and then she uses the.
Oh, okay. So
cold water.
basically, like your hands are already kind of cold.
No,
Wait.
warm. From the iron or from the massages.
Okay, this one's crazy. Let's move on.
What?
Let's
All of
move on.
those to me some sound okay.
Yeah,
Destructive,
I know.
no, but-
You're Mexican. These are the things that have been put into your mind. So I don't know about them. Maybe there's some truth to all of them, but I'm just not aware. So there is the other one. This one's pretty out there. It says craving denial leads to birthmarks. And so this one says if a pregnant woman craves something and doesn't get it, her baby will be born with a mark in the shape of the food. That's awesome, right?
That sounds good.
That is awesome.
That
So-
sounds like a good excuse to not denial cravings.
Right, so Max would be born with like a chocolate cake shaped birthmark if I didn't go get you that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, he has
But we never thought about it when we were pregnant.
No, not really.
I heard it long time ago.
Yeah, so that one's pretty out there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think too many people really subscribe to that, but it is fun. Like, man, where do these come from, right? Like maybe some baby was born with the shape of like
Hamburger.
elote or a hamburger, right? And then they're like, oh, remember you wanted that, and then he didn't get it for you, and now the baby has it. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell everybody.
Well, maybe it's because certain moms do have a lot of cravings for one particular thing. Like
Yeah.
they're always craving for, but I don't know. It just sounds crazy.
Don't try to make sense of it.
No.
I think you're only gonna lose.
What's the next one?
Okay, this one says the cuarentena rule. The cuarentena rule. I think you should explain that or even say it.
Well, that one is when you give birth, we are thinking you have 40 days of just not chilling because it's super hard, but you have to stay home
Yeah.
and just be with the baby and recover because you gave birth. And it's like 40 days. And
40 days exactly.
Yeah,
And then
and
get
then-
back to work.
After that, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
After that, you might have to go back to work, or I think they give you at work. They give you maybe a few more weeks, but probably that's it.
Right.
And that's. But then you see that in America it's like okay, they give you 6 weeks, so it's kind of similar. And
Yeah.
physiologically, there's a reason.
Right.
Like you do have to recover for the minimum of certain weeks,
Yeah.
but we call it cuarentena because
Okay.
it's 40 days.
Okay.
Cuarenta. Yeah.
Muy bien.
But that one is not a wife's tales.
That one doesn't sound so crazy. So here's one. It says a red ribbon to ward off jealousy, and it says hanging a ribbon on a car, house, or business keeps away bad vibes or jealousy.
That sounds more like Chinese because it's red.
It does. Maybe Chinese people came to Mexico and
Install that.
did some things. But then you also have the one with the red rope around the lady's belly, right? When there's
Rope.
an eclipse.
Yes.
Is it a rope or a ribbon?
A ribbon.
A ribbon?
Or whatever that is red, yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
And so that one is to ward off bad energy for
Yeah.
your baby or your pregnancy.
Well, they say that if there is an eclipse and then you're pregnant, you should wear something red or like a ribbon or a little bow in your tummy.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to protect the baby to not get deformities
Oh,
or anything wrong,
okay.
which, that's supposed to be mixed with like 'cause the moon and this and that. But then I don't think it's actually scientifically,
I don't think there's much science to that.
But
hey,
it is something that
if
is
it-
very ingrained in the culture, in the Mexican
Yeah,
culture.
for sure. I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
So those are our wives' tales from Mexico. We'll go over some other ones in a future video. But what was your favorite? I would say my favorite is the well, don't watch a dog poop because you'll get a sty in your eye. I just have fun thinking about how that started.
To me, it's like also because it's bad. Like, why would you watch a dog poop and then second something bad happens because you're doing something bad?
Well, I
like
have literally probably watched my dog's poop thousands of times because I'm waiting to pick it up with the poop bag. So you're like, okay, there it is, and then you pick it up. So I have probably gotten a sty in my eye maybe once in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, eh. And so I'm going to do a couple of giveaways for our members because we want to say thank you to all of our valuable members to the channel. And those are members that are not only on the YouTube channel membership, but Buy Me a Coffee membership. We're going to give you either coffee mug, t-shirt, or if you're in town in Bucerias, you can have Danielle and I take you out for tacos. And so the winner, we're going to have two winners. And so the winner of that prize is Christy Yunson. So congratulations, Christy. And the other winner is
Eric Overlie.
Eric Overlie, congratulations, you have won. So if you guys are in town, Danielle and I can take you out for tacos. Or if you just want a coffee mug or a t-shirt or something else on our store, send me an email, info@movingtomexi.co, and claim your prize.
Felicidades.
And thank you again to all of our members, all of our channel subscribers here. We really appreciate you guys. We have more videos on the way, but we just wanted to connect with you and share some news. Our family's doing great. Max is getting bigger, Maya's getting bigger, and Emma's getting bigger, right? Yes. But everybody's healthy and happy, so we're happy.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
De mi familia a la tuya, Dios te bendiga.
Adiós.
You're welcome.
You too.
Thank you.